Hey there, you probably clicked on this video with the hopes of learning how to trade the futures market. Well, I'm glad to tell you that you've come to the right place. My name is Fauz, and in today's video, I will be sharing with you the step-by-step guide on how to trade the futures market. Now, before we proceed with the video, I would like to put it out there that this video is made for educational purposes only and should not be considered as financial advice. Now, with all that being said, let's get right into the video and let's see how it's done. Futures trading is not as hard as it seems. The only problem is being a profitable trader. In futures trading, you are able to trade the downward movement or the upward movement of a particular chart. And I would like to define futures trading on my own terms as a way to get more for less. Now, what do I mean? Take, for example, you have $1,000. Now, in futures trading, we have something called a leverage. Applying a leverage of 2x to $1,000 means you have the purchasing power of $2,000. That is basically how leverage works. Whatever amount of leverage you want to use, you can add it to your initial amount, and this is going to give you more than your initial amount, right? But this does not only give you profitable positions, right? Once you have when you have leverage on your position, the same way it works in a positive way, it also works in a negative way. So if you are having a 10x leverage on a $1,000 deposit, that means you have $10,000, right? If the price goes maybe plus 5%, that means you have 5% of your $10,000. If the price goes minus 5%, you have minus 5% of your $10,000. But how leverage works is that your $1,000 is your only capital, right? So you can have a profitable position more than $1,000, but you cannot have a losing position more than $1,000 because what? Your $1,000 is basically your capital, right? You cannot lose more than $1,000. Once you lose more than $1,000, that means your money is gone, right? That's basically how leverage works. So you are looking to start out your futures trading journey or your perpetual trading journey. Well, you have to trade on a particular platform, right? There are different platforms. You have the Dexes and you also have the Dexes. I recommend trading on the Dexes because it's very easy and you do not need to do KYC before you withdraw your funds. But if you want to go the route of a SEX, I highly recommend Binance and MEXC, right? But this is not endorsement for me. These are platforms that I use and they work for me on a daily basis, right? But the more I recommend is on the DEX side, right? The DEXs, decentralized platforms, right? So the number one decentralized platform I'm going to recommend is Asta, and the second one is going to be Hyperliquid, right? These two platforms are the top best in the ecosystem right now. And if you want to try other platforms as well, one platform I would recommend using just because they will have an airdrop in the future is Variational, right? Variational Omni is also a platform to trade futures, and I highly recommend it so you can farm their upcoming airdrop. My strategy for trading is a very, very unique one, and it has a very, very high win rate, or so I would call it. It has a very high chances of making you money if you're a patience trader. It works highly on patience and like accurate setups, right? If you don't see a setup, you don't take a trade. It's basically like 90% guarantee that you're going to make a profit if you play your cards right, right? So there's no 100% in crypto or there's no 100% in trading. There's a chance that everything goes wrong and you lose all your money. So be aware of that. So how does this work? Well, I do call it the informational trading, which is when you take information or speculation in advance before it happens, right? Or when you see information early, you take a chance on that information. So I'm going to show you some examples of setups that I found using this informational trading. So this is how informational trading works, right? This tweet right here was put out 10:40 a.m. on the November 4th, 2025, right? And you can see that it was retweeted by CZ. Zoom into this real quick. It was retweeted by CZ right here and it was posted 10:40 a.m. November 4th, 2025. Now, going over to the Asta trading platform, which is where I trade my futures and most of my trades. So you can see right here on the November 4th, let me put it on a 1 hour time frame. 7th, 3rd, the 4th. You can see 11 a.m., which is like 10:40, very close to 11 right here. This is 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., right? That tweet was put out 10:40 a.m., right? Which is this candle right here, this green candle right here. If you are taking notice of this, when CZ tweeted it out, right? At 10:40 a.m., he retweeted it. Then he went ahead to make another post. What's that? Yeah, he went ahead to make another post, his own post by 11:27. Right? This is where things popped off. He made a post about them donating the fees, right? They already said it here, but nobody saw it, but he retweeted it, right? If you retweeted it, that means you saw it, like he wants people to see it, right? So take a look at this. Binance will be donating the fees, blah, 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 blah. This is something bullish. You just have to take a look at the information and see how it affects the coin. You don't really need to have a lot of mental like capacity to understand that you get. So them burning the fees or them burning generally is something bullish, right? So you taking a long year is a very, very nice gamble. Right? And as you can see, let me put this right here. Even if you took it after the tweet and whatnot, it was still a very, very good trade for anybody that took the trade. Take a look at this. Even if you don't catch it to the top, you still caught a very, very nice W. Right? Take a look at this. Take a look at the trade. Even if you bought the top of the announcement, it was still a very, very good trade. A very nice trade, a very nice W. This is informational trading, right? You trade based on info that is given to you. CZ is a really huge market maker. If you tweet something out, you want to make sure you like get in on it so that you don't miss out, which is most likely going to happen. It's going to cook if you tweet something out, right? Now let's take a look at this second example, right? On the November 2nd, CZ said he bought some Asta, and this post was made 3:33 p.m. on November 2nd, right? They said, I bought some Asta, blah, blah, blah. And you can see how the market reacted to that. The market literally pumped it up from 0.9 all the way to 2.28, 1.28, right? So if you had bought in on this candle right here, there was possibility that you made money, but there was a high probability that you lost money because you can see it retraced fully even below the position where CZ bought his coin, right? So you want to make sure that when you are trading, you use very good risk management and you don't just put all your money in one trade, right? This is all probability, is a probability game. It doesn't always work out, right? So you want to make sure that you are playing the game with good risk management. But as you can see, a few days later or a few hours later, it started to go back up again, right? So if you just used bad risk management here, you would have gotten liquidated, then price would go back up, right? So CZ literally tweeted I bought at this level right here. So me personally, I took a trade on this candle. I got wrecked, right? But when price came back to this level, it was a no-brainer buy because what? CZ already created that level that he bought at this level. So generally, there's a mentality that they don't want the price to go lower than that level, right? So I took a trade here at the level 0.9. I think I took it lower, like 0.8 something, right? So, and I used a very nice stop loss. And as you can see, price has been above that ever since and hasn't really gone lower than that. You can see, even though it never reached the peak that it reached before, but it's still quite a decent W, right? So you have to know how to play the game. You have to understand the game and you have to know how to utilize the game, right? But when a market maker like CZ is making tweets like this, you want to pay attention. Like most of my trades, I trade based on CZ's announcement or his tweets, right? They move the market a lot. So you can make a quick buck or you can ride it long term, right? So you want to make sure that you practice and know how to play the game, right? So this doesn't only work on CZ as well. It doesn't work only on CZ as well. There's a lot of different other coins, different other charts. Take for example, what is this? Monad. So let's take a look at this one as well. Monad, they announced the public ICO with Coinbase on the 10th of November at 3:06 p.m. Take a look at the time frame, 3:06 p.m., 10th of November, right? So now let's head to the charts. November 10, right? Pay close attention to the charts. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. November 10. Yeah, this is November 10. What time? Right, 3:06 p.m. See? 3:06 p.m. This is 2 p.m. This is 3 p.m. So see how the market reacted to the news of them doing an ICO, right? Short position right here, here. So what do you see? A news candle, right? Trading the news, right? Trading announcements. This is very, very important to learn if you want to be profitable in trading. And the thing about this is that it only happens once in a while. So you have to be very, very patient. You have to stay very patient and look for opportunities like this, right? You don't always catch them, but when you catch them, they are good. They are good cooks, right? So you can see what happened here. The market did not like the news at all. Even if it was just a scalp, we would have made some decent W. And what happened right after? You can see that the price went back up to this level and got dumped right again. So you don't always have to enter. There's most likely going to be another entry for you. So you want to make sure you pay attention and do proper risk management before you enter trades, right? Don't rush into a trade. If you feel like a trade is gone, just leave it and wait for another entry or wait for another setup, right? So that's basically it, guys. So yeah, that is it on this informational strategy that I use. So that is basically my concept of trading the futures and the perpetuals market. So if you have any questions at all, if you have any suggestions, or there's something you basically just don't understand, leave them in the comments. I would like to address every single one, and I hope to see you on the next video. Have a nice day. Peace.